Welcome to the Creative Brew, helping you keep your creative juices brewing. We're giving out chunks of insight, motivation, and practicality for your creative journey. All right, this is a new episode of the Creative Brew, giving you creative and practical insights for your creative journey. We're here at Panels Common Book and Coffee Bar here in Oceanside, California, right off of Mission Avenue. Please check them out. They got great coffee, great snacks, great titles from the big publishers as well as independent creators. And speaking of independent creators, we have a person that I know personally. I follow on Instagram. His work ethic is unreal. Like I said, a lot of great stuff going on as far as things that he's doing and events that he's promoting. So today we've got Keithan Jones here, and like I said, I'll let him sort of introduce himself and talk about the things that he's got going. So I'll let you talk to the audience there.
Yeah, sorry for the cough. I'm getting over this cold that was going around in San Diego. But yeah. I'm alive and pumping and getting excited for Saturday. We're having the Black Comix Day to honor Black History Month, but our particular show focuses on creators of color in comics.
Yeah.
And me being one of those, I got involved with the library, the Malcolm X library here in San Diego, or they asked me to be involved in putting this together. And so this is our second annual show, and last year was a great success, and we're hoping to duplicate that. And
nice.
And I'll be bringing my creation, the Power Knights, which is under my banner, Kid Comics. That's kid-comics.com. Okay. And it's a brand new independent company, which has been around now for a little over 4 years. Mm-hmm. And I'm just forging ahead in the indie world, hoping to grow my brand to the point where I can stand alongside the big boys like Marvel and DC Comics, and just put out another source of characters you may not otherwise see from the other companies.
Oh yeah. So as far as even with you getting started, what was the decision as far as you were like, okay, I'm going to get started with Kid Comics. I'm going to do it, because you got some creators, some artists, they want to be underneath a certain banner, or they want to work with some of the big publishers. Then you have some of those creators that sort of they're always sort of beaten to the tune of their own drum, so to speak, and they want to create something of their own, and something that they can build and grow. Was that the case for you? Was that something where, like, did you want to work with Marvel or DC or any of them, or you like, okay?
I can honestly say I didn't have a overriding desire to actually go through the process of working for one of those companies, because I think the bigger desire in my heart was to do my own stuff.
Yeah.
And that was from the time I was a kid. I was submitting my work to Marvel and DC when I was a kid, and I'm talking like pre-teens. Like, I thought, you don't really know how things work, and when you're a kid, so you're not really thinking about your place in the world at that moment.
Yeah.
You're just going about your business and oh, this is how you submit work? Okay. And put this stuff in the envelope, write the address, and send it off, and hoping I'm going to be a famous artist.
Yeah.
But of course, you get older and you realize the world doesn't work that way. You have to actually learn your craft. You actually have to go through the process of getting better and doing it in a professional manner.
Yeah.
But through that whole process, I was always drawing my characters. The Power Knights in particular was created when I was 11 years old.
Oh, wow.
So fast forward to answer your question, it really was just a leap of faith. I made my money doing graphic design. That's how I paid my bills for like 20-some years. I was just working at design firms, or I worked on video games. I worked in print companies. Just kind of like having a real world college education on how all this stuff works. So I understand how to not only draw and write comics, but I also understand how to prep them for print and set the files up properly, and understand how to use the different programs that pertain to that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just through working for all those different companies over the years.
Yeah.
So that gave me confidence to go ahead and take this leap of faith. You know what? Why wait for someone to give me the green light? Why wait for Marvel and DC to give me the green light to do what I want to do when I already have the tools at my disposal? I already know how to do this, so that's what I did.
Yeah.
I went ahead and, copywritten my trademark and did all the legal necessaries to get the company, legalized and off the ground. And then I went about the business of sitting down and writing out the script and drawing the pages, inking the pages, coloring the pages, and then ultimately printing the book and putting it out there. And my very first attempt at it, I came out of pocket. I had heard of Kickstarter, but I didn't really understand how it worked, and I just didn't have the patience to investigate that. I wish I would have, but I was so excited to get to the finish line. I came out of pocket for that first issue, and bought a bunch of copies that I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to sell. And so it is what that was my first lesson in business. It's like really do the research on what you're getting into and find the most economical way to get it done instead of just coming out of pocket, for every little aspect of it.
Yeah.
So
is that something you feel? I think just questions that I've gotten before with just different creatives from all types of industries, but I get a lot of them that they sort of. They tend to go back. They want to focus on the art, but not necessarily like the business aspect of it. What would you say? I mean, do you think that's being more of a creative entrepreneur? Do you feel like that's helped strengthen who you are and how you present yourself and things of that nature? Because I've seen a lot of creatives. I'm always sort of aware as far as how, because I'm in graphic design, and I'm always sort of aware, okay, how are these creatives, marketing themselves, even when they're doing vendor tables at certain events, like, are they looking up at people or are they looking down? Are they just drawing? Do you think all the stuff that you've done as far as building up Kid Comics and just building up your brand, do you think that's helped you out tremendously as far as like your marketing and sales and how you reach out to different customers?
Oh, the trial and error,
Yeah.
and the learning from my mistakes,
Yeah.
for sure. Presentation is everything. I mean, you first impressions can hurt, can make a company or kill a company.
Yeah.
A small company, that is. And so you always want to be personable with whoever you meet, even if you don't like the person. There's no. Just keep in your mind that this is business, it's not personal, and do what needs to be done to help your company. There's a time and place to voice your political opinions or personal preferences and do your ranting. And a business meeting is not that place.
Yeah.
Or a place of business is not that place. Unless that is your business. Unless you're a politician or something. And I think a lot of these younger, I'm not even going to say younger guys, this is a lot of artists in general with social media can't help themselves and go on these horrible rants, calling people out, just putting people on blast and just like, dude, was that really necessary?
Yeah.
Like, how important was that to make that statement in comparison to the representation of your company?
Yeah.
You don't see CEOs of major companies putting their personal business out out in the world like that.
Nope.
And we do, us these smaller guys do it all day long, but at the same time expect all these folks to buy our stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you done burned half the bridges out there, so that goes half your business.
Yeah.
And it's not, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't have any principles. Shouldn't stand on your principles, but at the same time, there's a way to say things.
Yes.
I think without getting into the politics that are going on now in the world, I think anybody, even if you despise them, if you're a president, for instance, you can get a lot done just by saying it nicely.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just your tone. Like,
yeah,
people are sensitive and they want to feel that you don't look at them as either a number or a piece of meat or what have you. You know, like, just keep that in mind when you're trying to get something across. Like, be personable. Don't be so what's the word? Belligerent. Don't be so belligerent.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't know everyone's situation.
Yeah.
You don't know what people are going through. You just don't. It doesn't matter what people say about a particular group or whatever. There's still individuals that make up that group every one of them are going through different things at different times.
Yeah.
That you have absolutely zero clue what it is that, you know, that's ailing them.
Yeah.
Unless you got to know them.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I say all that to say, when you're in business, keep all that stuff in mind. That if someone doesn't like your book, for instance, or your art, and they make a comment about it, just ignore them.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's just one person out of millions. Just ignore them. Keep focusing on the positive.
Yeah.
Focus on your fans who do like your stuff.
Yeah.
And keep building their fan base by staying in the positive lane. You know.
Okay. Yeah, and that's something that I've heard recently. I was listening to a podcast, and they talked about, you know, creatives, you know, feeling like a lot of them won't sort of put themselves out there because of the fear of rejection, fear of, you know, what if people don't like it, and they alluded to the fact of, you know, people. I mean, there's X amount of movies that's made in a given year. Not everyone's gonna like that same movie.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's gonna like a certain movie. I mean, a certain audience is gonna like a certain movie. Another audience is gonna like a certain movie. If you got
who's the guy that directed the latest Star Wars film? What's his name?
Was it Abrams?
Not Abrams. What is this guy? What's the guy's name? Young guy. He did The Last Jedi. I can't remember his name, but imagine being him.
Yeah.
And hearing all that backlash all day long.
Yep.
You know, imagine, you know, I wasn't particularly a big fan of the movie, but imagine hearing that. And it's not like he can avoid it unless he turns off the TV, turns off the internet. That's got to, you know, he could put on the face all he wants, but that's got to be hurting his heart.
Oh, yeah.
You know, his ego's taking a hit.
Yeah.
You know, and it's nothing he can do about it. It's done. It's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it is what it is, you know. And so he has to move on, and he still has to find a way to get back into his creative space to continue to do his next project.
Oh yeah,
you know. So no, not everyone's going to like your stuff. I know not everyone's going to like the Power Nights.
Yeah,
you know, and I have to be conscious of that.
Yeah.
But for me to go after those folks and to respond to those folks would be nuts. You know, I would be wasting my time.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you're trying to act like a CEO. Yeah, like I said, if you got the CEO mindset, you don't have time for that.
I can't.
Your time is focused on creating art, you know, pushing Power Nights, you know, get, like I said, working with other clients, you know, doing marketing, promoting. I mean, like I said, I know you got a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of times it's like you don't have the time for that. You know, you focus on what you're focused on.
That's another thing. People in your personal circle, now that's a challenge as well.
Yeah.
People in your personal circle don't understand what you're doing, and they don't understand that, yes, I can't go to the birthday this time, or I can't go to the cookout this time. If I do, I'm dead because I'm going to miss my deadline. Yeah. So happy birthday. I'll catch you next time. And it is what it is, right? Yeah. But no one gets on anyone's case if they say, "Oh, I got to go to work, go to the 9 to 5." No one gives you a problem about it, right? Yeah. But as soon as they see you over there drawing cartoons and stuff, they think that it's just something to do. You know, like, "Oh, what are you doing? You're not doing anything. What are you doing right now? Okay, you don't have time to go do." No, I do not have time to do that. You know, I'm sorry. I know you don't. I know you think I'm over here doodling. And just, you know, screwing around, but you know, I get tired just as, at the end of the day, I'm just as tired as you are.
Oh yeah, yeah. And yeah, they got the time to do this. All they're doing is drawing, or, you know, they're just, you know, doing something on the computer. They got time to do this. And I think as the creative industry in whole, I think now we're starting to demand a little bit more respect than what we have in the past. And even knowing that, I mean, even for us, knowing that our time is valuable. It's like, yes, we, you know, it may look like we're doodling, we're sketching or doing different things, but like I said, that stuff is going to translate to future projects or future you know, potential client work and things like that. And so yeah, I think that now I would want a lot of creatives now to sort of, you know, demand, not really demand it, but try to you know, create that enough value to where, you know, people can see, okay, they're working on things, or I respect his time enough.
They have to realize that just because you have hundreds of likes on Facebook or Twitter doesn't really mean that you're famous, or a lot of people know you like that. That's just a minute number compared to the millions of people in the world, the billions of people in the world.
Yeah.
And so, as much as famous as Jim Lee is, for instance, the general public doesn't know who Jim Lee is.
No.
Jim Lee could walk through Disneyland right now and it probably wouldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
You know, because it's always been like that for the comics industry.
Yeah.
You know, only person that really I can say is legit famous is people like Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Someone like Stan Lee. You know, God bless the dead, and I really can't even think of anyone else. I mean, and Stan Lee put himself in the movies, so that helped his profile. But but in general, Stan Lee and back in the day, Jack Kirby, those were the names that that you remember. But they were just names. You didn't know their face.
Yeah.
You know, and then obviously Stan Lee started showing up on television and here and there, and then the movies, and that elevated his profile in the same sense as Walt Disney back in the day when Walt was alive. You know, people thought Walt was actually drawing those cartoons. I mean, they really did. You know, so the general public doesn't think too deep about it, and you can't take that personally. You just have to understand your position. It's like, dude, don't get seduced by Facebook and Twitter comments and likes.
Yeah.
You have work to do.
Yep.
To up your profile.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how many times I see guys with this dude got 500 likes for his piece of art he drew here, right?
Yeah.
And then he launches a Kickstarter and it's like crickets.
Yep.
You know, like, so it's you as a business person, you have to be aware of your actual position on the board, and you have to do the work of promoting yourself constantly. Yeah. And keeping people invested in either you or your product. You know, and it's challenging and it's tiring, but you know, if you really want this, you better love it.
Oh yeah,
because it's a lot of work and there's no guarantee that you're going to succeed.
Yeah, I agree on that. I agree on that. So, like I said, we could probably be talking another couple of hours just on, you know, on the topics that we've already mentioned. But I want to talk a little bit about Black Comix Day and what you know, how did it even start? You know, I know I've seen some things on social media, but how did it even start?
Okay, so my mother, she's on the staff. First of all, it takes place at San Diego's Malcolm X Library, which is the only Malcolm X library in the United States.
Oh, wow.
And so my mother, she's part of this staff called Friends of the Malcolm X Library. They're not technically employed by the library. Yeah. But they're a subsidiary that does fundraising for the library through different events. Okay. Because the library is a publicly owned piece of property, city owned. And they're not allowed to charge people, you know, monetarily. They're not allowed to actually sell stuff there. Yeah. It's a public library. Anybody can come in and out of it. So all of the events that they hold for fundraising is donation based, or they can or stuff that they can sell that has that doesn't directly go to the library. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. So anyway, every year they do events for Black History Month, and last year they wanted to incorporate a comic, something that had something to do with comic books. And me being my mother's son, she told them about me. Oh, my son knows about comics. Yeah. So they brought me on board to actually spearhead it, since I was the only one that had any knowledge of the comics industry. And so I actually, taking that, I decided to, I almost passed on it because I was so busy. But I was like, wait a minute. As far as I know, there isn't any comic book conventions focused on Black creators in San Diego. And here was an opportunity to put something together in that effect.
Nice.
Right? And so I went about the business of creating Black Comix Day in 2018, the first show, and called up all the folks that I knew in the industry and praying that they would respond and be a part of it. And thank God that most of them did.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but they did. I mean, we have big profiles like David Walker, who's worked for all the majors, Marvel, DC, Image, currently at Image with Bittersweet, or Bitterroot, a book called Bitterroot, which just sold out.
Yeah, that book's nice.
Yeah, and he's actually now launching his own comics line. I forgot the name of it, but he's gonna take a stab at the indie world himself.
Nice.
And people like John Jennings, who's making moves, not only in comics but in graphic, in the well, it's graphic novels he'll be spearheading, but he's part of a larger printing company, and I don't remember the name of the company either. But they have, their stuff is generally found in places like Barnes and Noble, those type of books.
Nice.
Book outlets. But anyway, yeah, and Larry Houston, the director of the X-Men cartoon from the 90s. He was there.
One of the greatest cartoons of all time.
Yeah. So I was pleasantly surprised that these folks wanted to be a part of this, and I just figured, and I thought about it. Maybe I was right. Maybe there isn't that many outlets for these type of artists to get that type of shine.
Yeah.
You know, because if you think about it, and this is no hate on anyone that I mentioned or in the industry, but remember Wizard magazine?
Oh yeah.
And they would have the top 10 artists and writers.
Yep.
And it was out. It was out for many years doing that, and I don't think I ever saw a Black writer or artist in that top 10 list.
No, not from
maybe once. And I don't know if that's because their stuff wasn't up to par, or there just wasn't a lot of them in the industry.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact there isn't a lot of them in the industry, but they are there.
Yeah.
So, and it's like the Grammys or the Oscars. It's subjective. What you like is what you like. But,
yeah.
Because our community, the Black community, is still going through a lot of the pains of the past. We aren't necessarily, there's things where we are not necessarily seen at or a part of, and comic book culture is one of them. Like when I go to Comic-Con, it's like, where are the Black people? No, there's one. It's like you can count them on one hand.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is that about?
Yeah.
Is that, I mean, are Black kids being told that reading comics is not cool? Or are they just genuinely not interested? What's going on there? I grew up reading comics. My friends grew up reading comics.
Yeah.
So I know they read them, but is it because they don't see folks that look like them in the comics or in the cartoons?
Yeah.
Whatever, And then here comes Black Panther, which broke all of those stereotypes.
Oh yeah.
Because the buzz was it'll do its money, but it won't be. Excuse me. It won't do well overseas. I remember a lot of stories about, it'll do okay in the States, but I doubt it's going to make any noise overseas.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be, make about, maybe Deadpool level money or whatever.
Yeah.
But this thing ended up becoming the third largest profiting film of all time.
Wow.
Not just Marvel movies, but all movies. It ranked number 3 right now.
Wow.
So I know for a fact that Marvel didn't and Disney didn't. They didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
There's no way they saw that coming. I didn't see it coming. So, but to me, that just says there's a starving demographic out there that wants to see images of folks that look like them in these big budget movies.
Oh yeah,
done well, you know, because we've had obviously there's black films out there now, right?
Yeah.
Before Black Panther, but 90% of the time it's low budget stuff, or it's half-heartedly put together, and the studios don't do too much as far as marketing.
oh yeah,
So, you know, or the subject matter is just the same old garbage. Like, oh, he's a gangbanger, or he's a reformed criminal, or he broke out of jail, or he's going to jail, or he's building a jail. I don't know. It's like it's the same damn thing. It's like it always has something to do with criminality.
Yeah.
Even the comedies, Yeah. And I love some of these films, but it's like, come on, man. It's like we're just as diverse as any community out there, and it's always coming from one space, this stereotypical space.
Yeah.
And I think Black Panther people are so starving to see something different.
Oh yeah.
They went out in droves to watch this thing.
Yeah.
And whether you think it's a great film or not, that's not the point. The point is the cultural impact that the thing made on the world, and the impact was real. And you see now, because of that film, you see more, and not just black artists, you see more artists from different groups, whether they're females or gay or whatever, given opportunities to be put in positions of power, like a director's role.
Yeah.
With some real money and marketing behind these projects now.
Yeah.
Like Ava DuVoe. Sorry if I mispronounced the name, but she was given New Gods.
Oh wow.
Jack Kirby's New Gods.
Yeah.
She was given the role to direct that film. And I seriously don't think she would have been given the chance if not for the work that came before with like films like Black Panther. And the stuff Ryan Coogler's been doing.
Yeah.
Even outside of Black Panther, like with the Creed films and
oh yeah,
all that stuff. So,
yeah, I love the director for him. I know he did was it Fruitvale Station, and
did Fruitvale
yeah,
Station.
that was some great movies.
Yeah, so that stuff is it translates into what's going on now with the opportunities that in the films that you're starting to see come out now with these different faces. I'm hoping to see more films with Asian folks in it. Like, everyone knows about the debacle with Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
It's like, to me, if they would have did it right, this is an opportunity. Well, you could say, well, there aren't any big Asian stars out there to carry a film. Well, here's an opportunity to create one.
Yep.
This is the perfect vehicle to create one.
Yep.
You just got to market it right. Make people feel like they need to go see this. And you can't tell me Hollywood doesn't know how to do that. They excel at that.
Yeah.
Selling you crap, right? Sell something good. So they can do it if they really want to and believe in it.
Yeah.
And it just makes things more interesting and more fun. And I think the comics industry is suffering a little bit because it's too much of the same stuff. It's like, and even though I applaud Image is putting out a lot of different kind of things. That's good. But Image doesn't have the reach that Marvel and DC has. They don't have that kind of financial kick and access to the media.
Yeah.
I remember back in the 80s when G.I. Joe cartoon was running, and they used to actually run commercials for the comic book.
Oh yeah, I remember
that. That was hype, man.
Yeah.
It was like they had the cool animation, little quick animation, and then at the end they would show the issue with this sun blaze behind it.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. And oh man, I gotta go get that. And you run to the comic book store and get it.
Yep.
Like what happened to that? They have more money than God right now. And they, it's not going to hurt them to run commercials for their own books.
Yeah.
But I just think that right now it's like, well, they don't sell one book. It's not going to hurt them. The movies are making so much money.
Yeah.
Who cares? And I think that's a mistake because you don't want to kill the source of these ideas. Like you want to keep nurturing the book side of it.
Yeah.
But you also want to like really key in on it. Like, okay, let's shake this up. Let's really do some new stuff. And let's really promote the comic book side on the big scale. The same way we promote movies.
Yeah.
What happens if you start promoting the books?
Yeah.
The same way you promote movies.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think it's one of those where I think there's always all kinds of factors. They feel like people don't read as much anymore, and people's attention spans is either shorter or
There's a lot of that happening, but that's why I said, hey man, all it takes is for something to go viral and everybody will follow. Like,
yeah.
You just got to build excitement for something, and then people feel like they're part of an event.
Yeah.
And then they realize, oh, I actually do like this kind of stuff, and then they venture off into the other titles, right?
Yep.
But somebody with some clout has to like co-sign this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like music, like a new recording artist. It's like they start out in a little hole in the wall somewhere. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, they're like major rock stars.
Oh yeah, I actually read a book, and it talked about Elvis Presley's story as far as musicians, and no one didn't know him from
hole in the wall.
Yeah, and this guy came in, and it was this one producer that had believed in him, that knew his potential, and Elvis just stunk it up at first, and then he took a break. Elvis ended up singing it was like an old folk song that he used to sing, and all the other producers were wondering who this was, and then they sung that song, recorded it, and then he blew up.
Yep.
And so I said, I think
same person. He was the same guy he was the day before.
Yep.
He had the same talent from the day before.
Yep.
It's just now when people look at him, they see this entity.
Yeah.
They see this personality. He doesn't. It's hard to look at him as a regular Joe anymore.
Yeah. But but I think everybody needs that one patron that's gonna back it, that's gonna support support that creative. And
the last time comics enjoyed that rock star status was the Image days, the early '90s.
Yeah, that was.
I mean,
that was
I
crazy.
remember those going to cons, and man, those dudes were legit stars. Like the lines were crazy to see them.
Kid Comics. I would call you the founder of Black Comix Day. The founder of Black Comix Day. Awesome event. It's gonna have a lot of indie creators, a lot of people that's represented as far as minorities, and I think it's gonna be a special event. It's free.
It's not just indie creators. I mean, they're indie creators by choice, but they also are employed by the majors.
Yeah.
So it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
So you get to these same folks have worked on your favorites: the X-Men, the Batman, Robin, Teen Titans, Fantastic Four. So they've worked on all of those books as well. So these are real pros that you'll be meeting.
Nice. So we'll go down to the last little section here, and it's almost like a little lightning round. But if you could be one hero for 24 hours, who would that be and why?
Well, my favorite character is Spider-Man.
Okay.
But for 24 hours, I'll choose Superman. That way, I'll choose Superman. I don't have to worry about getting hurt. I get to fly. I'm fast.
Yeah.
I can see through things. So yeah, Superman.
Cool. And then, what would you give as far as a creative tip? What's one creative tip that you could give to our audience that would help them tremendously?
Do what you know. Like, don't think too hard trying to write stuff that you don't have any real knowledge of.
Yeah.
Take something that you've already experienced in real life and amplify it by adding fantasy elements. If that's your bag, like if you want to do fantasy or superheroes, find something in your own personal life to springboard your story from. That way, you can write confidently.
Yeah.
And avoid writer's block.
Sweet. So I'll put this up real quick. We got Power Nights here from Keithan Jones. Great series. Right now, do you see this with Power Nights? Do you see that as a limited series right now, or you
currently
feel like
it's going to issue? It'll be 5 issues in total. This is issue 4, which just released this last month, and issue 5 will come out as a trade paperback, where I'm going to have all 4 issues, including the current 4 issues, including the brand new number 5 packaged as one trade paperback, with the option to buy issue 5 as a standalone.
Cool.
And not only am I going to compile all the previous issues, I'm going to update them as far as the color.
Oh, nice.
Maybe add some new pages, redo some of the pages.
Okay.
And so that you're not buying the exact same thing you already have.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, it's a 5-part series, and then moving on to the next big thing.
All right. Good deal.
But I'm hoping that, I really believe when people read the Power Knights, I think they'll dig it, and I think that it's right. It's a series that's right for other media like animation and movies, particularly TV. I see it as a TV series in the same way as Thundercats or Transformers back in the day. You know, where you sit down and you watch it episodically.
Yeah.
That's the vision I have for the Power Knights, because me still being a new name in the industry. It's people don't necessarily see what I see with these characters in my mind, and it's like I'm trying to convey that.
Yeah.
And it's so until they see it, I just hope people continue to give me a chance and check out the book and give it a shot. I think you'll like it if you actually sit down and read it.
Nice. Yeah, it's a very compelling story. I could definitely, when I first read it, I was like, I could definitely see that as some kind of cartoon, someone picking it up as some kind of television series.
And my approach to the story is, I like to I don't necessarily like to jump right into the fully developed character. Like, I like to build them up within the story, so without boring the reader. I want you to see the maturation of each character. Like, they all have a past before you start reading it. Like, from issue 1, the things have already happened by when you read issue 1 that you don't necessarily see, but it will be revealed to you as you read through the series.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the original Star Wars Episode 4. Darth Vader was already there. He was already developed, and we didn't know where he came from, and they didn't really explain where he came from, other than Ben Kenobi knew of him, and what did he say? He was a student. Yeah. That's about all we knew. Maybe he was a good guy at one point. We didn't know. It wasn't really explained. The Empire wasn't really explained. Yeah. So my approach to the Power Knights is kind of in that same vein, where these characters they're already populating this world, and they're already set in their ways, but how did they get there? Why are they doing what they're doing? And for the reader, that's the information that you're being entertained by. It's the how and the why of what's already there. Okay. What's already happening.
Cool. Nice. So, like I said, Keithan Jones got Black Comix Day this weekend, this Saturday. Am I right on that? Yep, this Saturday, free event. Please come down there, check it out. It's in San Diego. It's at the Malcolm X?
Malcolm X Library.
Yeah.
So parking, free admission.
Oh, that's great.
There will be food. We're also going to have a video game room. We're going to have a room that's going to be set up. They're going to have like a VR experience. We put the glasses on and you play this trivia game or something like that. Yeah. And you get prizes, and it's run through a couple of different organizations, but radio station called KNSJ. I think it's 98.1 or 95.1, one of the two, but it's KNSJ, Notes from the Underground. Okay. That radio show is behind this video game room. Because they do a lot of gaming events for competition purposes. Okay. And they host a lot of that type of stuff. So they're going to be there on hand at the Black Comix Day event doing their thing, entertaining the folks and the kids, and, and more of a focus on video games. Yeah. And that's in a separate room from the main floor. The main floor will have all of the artists at their different tables. And that's where you'll meet all the folks that we're talking about. And then we're going to have 2 panels. Okay. The first panel between 1 and 2 p.m. It's called Empowerment. And that panel focuses on the stuff we've been talking about. Yeah. Where we're going to question 4 artists, including myself, about how we go about the business of what we do and our approaches to writing and creating our characters, and particularly our approach to characters of color, and it's coming from different perspectives. So there's two African American gentlemen, which is one of them being me, the other Robert Roach, a black female, Angela Nixon. She writes children's books and she's working on a comic herself.
Nice.
And then there's a white gentleman named Chad Kavanaugh. He's on the panel, and he has a book called Boxcar Justice that features an African American character. So I thought it'd be interesting to have him on the panel so that we can see from a white person's perspective, writing a character of color, how he went about that.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be a good mix for us to answer questions and allow the audience to ask us questions.
Nice.
And then the second panel is called Renaissance, I believe, and it's about animation. It's about African Americans in animation, the past to the present.
Oh wow! I know that's got to be great.
Yeah,
that's got to be great. So, where could people reach you at? Even if people are wanting to purchase the Power Knights comic book,
you can find me. Well, everything that I create is under kid-comics.com. It's KID-comics COMICS.com.
Okay.
If you want to buy either the comics or the merchandise, like the shirts, for instance, and every comic you buy comes with a poster as part of the package. You can follow me on Facebook, Kid Comics Online, Facebook/Kid Comics Online, or just find me under my name, Keithan Jones. I'm on Twitter. This is where I get confused. Either Kid Comics KJ or KJ Kid Comics.
Yeah.
Because it's the same with Instagram. It's either Kid Comics KJ or KJ Kid Comics. But once you see that kid logo, you know you found me. So yeah. So I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and the website kid-comics.com.
Nice.
So you'll find me.
Sweet. Well, like I said, this has been another awesome episode of the Creative Brew with Keithan Jones. And like I said, we're here at Panels Comic Book and Coffee Bar here in Oceanside, California, right off of Mission Avenue. Please check them out today. And once again, this has been another awesome episode. Be creative, stay inspired.
Peace.
All right.
Thank you, man.
Oh, not a problem. Thank you.